So since we've all agreed, give me a guess if you agree with me that providing that if a person who loves you is going to make sure you're okay, a person who loves you is willing to sign some sort of contract to make sure that you're provided for. I think we agreed on that. All right. So here are some things you can do to give you some of the benefits of marriage without actually having to go through the ceremony. If being married is not something that you want to do, you can still make sure you sign paperwork to give each other certain legal rights. And I'm gonna give you, it's kind of a five-step process on this, and so you can write this down. Number one, if you share a house, put both of your names on the deed so that both of you have legal ownership of the house. I knew a guy who was a 50-something-year-old guy. He was, OG style. He had a young girlfriend, 32 years old, so he had a little bit of money. Typically, when men get 50 and they have money, there are 30-year-old women, 35-year-old women who will want to date them. I think it's really hilarious that we try to look at those relationships the same way we'd look at it if the genders were reversed. I think that's crazy. No. All throughout history, you can go back 100,000 years, rich men in their 40s and 50s attracted young women who were looking for financial security. I think it's strange that people will say, oh, that's creepy, that's weird. No, it's not always creepy and weird. Now, Shannon Sharp, that was just sloppy, right? She was like damn near out of preschool. But really, if it's not uncommon to see that 50-something-year-old man dating that 30-something-year-old woman who says, I want a man with a certain level of maturity and financial security and all that stuff. So here's what happened to this guy. He unfortunately he didn't realize that dating a 32-year-old does not make you into a 32-year-old. He didn't realize that even if he dated a 32-year-old, he was still a 54-year-old. And so what happened to this 54-year-old man is he had a stroke and he was paying all the bills like a good man does. He paid all the bills, took care of her, but he had no paperwork protecting this lady, none at all. And so what happened was when he had this stroke, she had to go into his bank account. She broke into his bank account to get the money out. You put using the Face ID thing because she needed the money to pay the bills. And all she did was she paid the bills. She didn't give money to her side dude or anything like that. But lo and behold, he dies. And when somebody dies, the state steps in. When somebody dies, your relationship means nothing if there's nothing legally documenting that. When somebody dies, it becomes a government issue. The law steps in. So basically, they did a forensic accounting and found out that this lady had taken tens of thousands of dollars out of the bank account while he was in his coma. So his daughter, who was the first person to get the money, immediately had her arrested and had her evicted because she didn't even like the girl. She's like, "Why, Daddy? Why are you dating a girl that's 2 years older than me?" And so, lo and behold, this poor girl was stuck. This man that claimed to love her and like, girl, I got you, and all this other stuff. He didn't understand that taking care of somebody means you take care of them when you're here and when you're not here, not just when you're alive. You have to make plans for when you're not alive. So if you put both names on the deed, that at least gives someone a legal right to live there if you're not there. Let me know if you can hear that. Let me know if you get what I'm saying. Write that in the chat. Write deed in the chat. So do your deed and put your name on the deed. Everybody write the word deed in the chat. Number two, you should create a living will or trust that clearly outlines who gets what when you die. A trust is something that you can do in a day. It's very important. It creates clarity. It does not create the leadership void that we often see in many black families when somebody does not make a plan for their death. I don't know why you Negroes think y'all gonna live forever, because you're not. You black people die every day, all the time for preventable causes. So using a will in a living trust is critical for creating clarity.